Let me share with y'all my Oscar story. That is the Oscars, the Academy Awards. I actually watched them and not thinking that I was going to. Let me explain what happened. I was hanging out with my dad last night, my newly, uh, um, unfortunately widowed father. Um, I was hanging out one more day uh, after everybody else had left, and we were just sitting eating Chinese food. We watched the Hawks game. We saw the Hawks lose, and and then my dad said, "Hey, you want to watch the Academy Awards?" And I was thinking, "Oh, are they on now?" Because I usually don't. I usually avoid all award shows. But I said, "Well, sure, you know." Because what else? What am I going to do? I'm gonna say no to my newly widowed dad. No, I don't think I'm going to do that. Um, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say, well, you can watch it, Dad. I think I'm gonna go upstairs. Right? No, no, I'm not. I'm not that heartless. And I was sort of curious, um, because I do enjoy the movies. I hate the movie biz. Uh, I hate a lot of the people who work in the movie biz, and I think Hollywood is evil and depraved and satanic. Um, and more than that, even if I didn't have such a strong negative perception of Hollywood, there's something about the whole uh, notion of like, oh, you're the movie of the year, you're the director of the year, you get an award, you get to be nominated for an award. And that's somehow supposed to mean something because some group of people, who call themselves the Academy, vote, you know, mostly or oftentimes for political reasons, uh, uh, you know, exclusively to bestow these supposed honors upon you. I mean, it just sort of makes me sick. Um, but it happened that last night there was this happy confluence where a movie that I really liked a lot, namely Oppenheimer, was nominated for a ton of awards, and I just wanted Oppenheimer to just run the tables. I wanted him to sweep everything, and so I had that. I was just cheering for Oppenheimer whenever someone was nominated. And it definitely seemed like Christopher Nolan was like, my impression was that he was taken into the he was he was shown, uh, uh, the secret rooms, the secret compartments uh, that they have in the back of the Academy Awards. The all of the special rooms where they do their ceremonies and call upon Moloch and so forth. Like he had been nominated 8 times prior. Uh, 8 times he'd been nominated for Best Director, and was uh, was 0 for or 7 times prior was 0 for 7. This time with Oppenheimer, they said, okay, we're going to give it to you, and they gave much more to Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer won Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor, Best Picture, Best Cinematography, just a ton of awards, and and Barbie got basically nothing, except that um, Ryan Gosling got to perform his Ken song, um, and he was pretty funny, and everybody loved it, and So that was kind of interesting, to see, the Ken phenomenon, because I've heard so much about it. I've heard how Ken steals the show from people who have watched Barbie and who think Barbie is ironically, pro man, without intending to be. Um, I haven't. I never cared to see it, but his performance was pretty special, and I enjoyed it. And it does seem that he does have the goods. He does steal the show. He kind of stole the award show. Um, Now there were over we didn't see it from the very beginning to the very end, but we saw the last couple hours of it. I would say it was a lot less uh, awful than I was expecting it to be. The time we first turned over was when the John Cena naked prank was going on. I still don't know what really that was all about. Jimmy Kimmel was the host. Uh, Jimmy Kimmel, who called the people who were with on Wall Street bets, at the time, that they've retroactively decided to make them into heroes and valorize them and make a movie about them, saying that these are the little people who took on the big brokerage houses and bet on GameStop and stuff. And I remember it actually in 2021 when that was all going down. The all of the major media was saying, "Oh, this is an alt right." This is a bunch of anti-Semitic alt right people. But they turned on a dime when they saw there was something to be won from that. But anyway, what was I? Oh yeah, Kimmel said that they were Russian disruptors in one of his monologues on his show. So Kimmel is just he's gone. He's just gone. Um it's not even about liking or disliking Trump. It's just it's clear who he's getting his marching orders from. But even he wasn't awful. He was generally inoffensive. He went off, there was a point where he went off on Trump for a tweet that Trump wrote about him, about Kimmel, and how lousy of a host he was. Where he read that back and snarked at it, and that was I was like, that was sort of like, yeah. But then I also thought to myself, why does effing Trump have to always insert himself into? Can't he just like can't he just let something happen? Can he just let the Academy Awards happen and not say anything about anybody? Um, that's just not Trump, though. That's not who he is. I mean, but I find him to be kind of tiresome in that way as well. Um, but other than that moment, there really weren't all that many moments of that I saw of actors going up there and getting self-important, sanctimonious, and talking about some political issue or other. Um, Killian Murphy, when he won, he said, "Blessed are the peacemakers," and I thought that was a tasteful way of maybe suggesting certain things about what should happen in the world today, without directly stating anything. And I thought, the fact that he played Oppenheimer, who created the atomic bomb, unless that was all a hoax. I know, but uh, that sort of. So that was like a tasteful way of being sort of topical. I don't know. The director of The Zone of Interest, which again was is a movie that I've praised and which I like. He won for some like foreign film, best foreign film or something like that. And he came up and said that something like that the Holocaust is being exploited right now to justify Gaza, what's happening in Gaza. That was kind of ballsy. Um, uh, so I guess there are ways where you can talk about stuff without it being like without just getting so full of yourself and so sanctimonious. Um, but what really the thing that I think made me the most uh, uncomfortable um, were, and this I'm saying this to all of you because I'm guessing that probably very few of you watched the Academy Awards, and I didn't know uh, the last time I'd seen it was maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. I've made a concerted effort to avoid shows for the reasons I stated at the beginning of this video. But I what I there's like for all of the best actor, best actress, best supporting actress, best supporting actor, for all of those where there's five nominees, they have other guys come out on the stage and praise each of the nominees. So guy one says, Jeffrey Wright, you are just a wonderful person and you are so talented. And oh my gosh, I just, I'm, I'm just so blessed to be just standing 20 feet away from a legend like you. I mean, that's what the Asian guy who played Short Round and who was in that movie a couple years ago, everything all at once or whatever, which everybody liked and I didn't care for at all. That was his, like some of the some of like so like these introductions of all the people who were the nominees. Some of them were fine. Some of them were just, hey, you brought life to this role, and that was you did this with the role. Like you said, like the guy who introduced um, uh, sorry, Ryan Gosling as Ken said, you brought empathy to that role, and that's a role that's worthy. Show that's a role that's worthy of empathy, and that was good. And so there was a good and a bad way to do it, but I just sort of thought the whole thing was a little egregious. It was a little obsequious. It was sort of like we want to honor all of the nominees by telling them all that they're great, having some other actor tell them that they're great before we choose the winner. Whereas before, it's just always been, here are the nominees, and then they give the winner. That they tell us who the winner is. Um, let's see, anything else I should mention? Um, the Pacino Pacino was such a train wreck. Um, it was great. It was really kind of funny. He's 83, 84 years old. He doesn't give a shit. Uh, he comes out there. He's like doing the movie. He's like, for the climactic, best picture, and he just instead of uh, instead of there being an announcement of all the nominees for best picture, he just opened the envelope and says, "Ah, I see. What I see on the page is Oppenheimer." It was just it was just so funny. Um, it was such a train wreck to end the night. Um, so I guess all in all, I'm really quite surprised at how much I enjoyed watching the Oscars. How relatively painless it was. Um, you know, there was one other moment where there was like they voted for best documentary, and a bunch of movies I hadn't heard of were introduced, and one of them was a Ukrainian movie about Mariupol from the Ukrainian perspective, of course, and they won, and then the director came up and said stuff about Russia attacking Ukraine and all that, which would have been cringe if it had been some Hollywood person, but this was somebody actually speaking from the heart. Um, so I could sort of respect it. I could. I'm not in favor of that. I think blessed are the peacemakers when it comes to Ukraine, and I think it's a complicated situation. But the guy who made this documentary and won, you know, I could understand that he was speaking from the heart in his perspective about Russian bombs falling and stuff like that. Which couldn't, which can't be great for for the people who are living there. But by the same token, the people in eastern Ukraine getting attacked by the Kiev government is not great either, which has been also been happening sporadically over the last few years. So it's a complicated situation. But anyway, uh, so those were the only moments where things got really, sort of stupidly political. And one of them I could excuse because it was somebody who was actually directly involved in it, and it wasn't just some Hollywood, Washington D.C. CIA stooge. Uh, um, and the other, like the one with the stuff about responding to Trump's tweet. That was Kimmel doing that was tiresome, but Trump's tweet was also kind of tiresome. I just, you kind of you kind of get worn out. You kind of get worn out with that stuff, and even people like who would want to see Trump as the lesser of the two evils still get a little worn out by Trump always having to insert himself, always having to be. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. So those are my Oscar thoughts. Take them or leave them. What did y'all think? Did you watch? Uh, if you didn't, I don't blame you. But for me, it was something to do with the Potter, and I'm happy I did it. And we kind of had fun watching it together. Although it would have been more fun if Mom had been around to watch it with us. But anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon.